Hey now, today we're going to take a look at In Love and War, self-published by Kuraki Mura. This is a Taiwanese game. It's not domestically available yet, but it may be sometime in the future. This is a simple card game, and the best way I can think of to describe it is super rummy. If you ever played Rum or 500 Rum growing up, it's about drawing cards and trying to make sets of cards and put them down in front of you and be the first one to go out, essentially. But there's some extra complications to this game, together with an incredibly adorable theme of being these really cute chibi cats who are trying to get married. You're trying to submit a marriage proposal and hope that your fictitious, ethereal loved one will respond and say, I do. And I will warn you right now, if you are someone who is pre-inclined to like really cute things, this game might make your head explode like the guy from Scanners. That's how cute the game is. It might completely overload your neural synapses. I'm just warning you right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at how the game is played. Then we're going to come back. I'll tell you what I think. Okay, I'm going to give you a brief overview of In Love and War. This is a competitive game for 2 to 4 players. The theme of the game, while it's not too tightly tied to the mechanics, is very cute. What you're trying to do is submit a marriage proposal to the love of your life and hope that they accept. But they may not accept the first time, and you may have to try again, which is kind of odd because maybe it's a Taiwanese thing, but in America, if someone says no the first time, I think you generally give up. But this time you can say it multiple times over and over and over again and hope that this is the one that sticks, and I'll explain that in a minute. Mechanically, the game is Rum. If you ever played Rum or 500 Rum or any other variation thereof, that's what this game is. You're trying to be the first one to dump your entire hand by making 2 sets of 3 cards and a pair. So you have a starting hand of 7 cards, and you have to have essentially 8 of the appropriate type of cards in order to dump out. You need to have either, for your sets of 3, you need to have either 3 of the exact same number and color. The cards go from 1 to 6, and there's 2 different colors, red and blue. Or you need to have a run of cards, so 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, whatever, of the same color. For the pair, it's the same thing, except that you can only have the exact same number and the same color for your pair. You can also make sets or a pair of these special gadget cards, which are like diamonds, houses, love letters, flowers, basically like little items that you're going to use to influence whether your mate says yes or no to your proposal. And by the way, the numbered and colored cards also represent like activities that you take your date out on in order to butter them up for the final proposal. So again, it's really just art on the cards, which I'll show you in a minute, but thematically you're trying to just get your mate into the right situation to finally have your proposal and hope that it works out. Now the main core mechanic of the game, whenever you decide who's going to go first, it's draw a card, discard a card. That's it. If you can draw a card and win the game right there by laying out your entire hand, great. If not, you just have to discard a card and play moves on to the next player. The other mechanic, and this is also something similar to other rummy games, if someone discards a card that you need right away in order to make a set or a pair, you can say, and this is what is unique to this game, because everything in this game is chibi cats, you can say, meow, and immediately grab that card and then lay out whatever pair or set you were trying to make with it. And in fact, if the card that you grab can let you win the game, you say, meow, meow, meow. Seriously, it's in the rules. And then you can win the game that way. Now, over off here to the side, we have these good impression tokens, which I haven't talked about yet, and these I do cards, which you keep separate from the rest of the deck. And here, I'll show you right now, just to give you a good indication of what the rest of the artwork in this game is like. It is almost obscenely cute. So these I do cards have the same artwork as the rest of the backs of the cards in the game, but the other side is different. You have this is you making the proposal and hopefully having it accepted, and you'll keep these 4 cards off to the side. The purpose here is that when you go out, you don't just win the game automatically. You have to have your proposal accepted. So all of the cards that you use in order to make your 2 sets in a pair, you're going to put those down, and you're going to, if this is the first time that you're doing this, or if there's no other special thing going on, you're going to take one of the proposal cards, the I do cards, and you're going to shuffle it into that stack of cards that you just went out with. Now, at this point, what you're trying to do, once you have that all shuffled up, you're going to draw one card off the top, and if it's the I do card, you win the game. If not, that's it. You have not won. You discard those cards, draw 7 new cards, and play proceeds. But because you failed, you get to take a good impression mark. And what that means is that the next time you attempt this maneuver of trying to get someone to say I do, you get to, for each one of those that you have, you get to draw an additional card from that stack of cards that you've made, hoping that you get that I do card. You'll also separate the I do card before you proceed with the rest of the game, obviously. The other thing that can mitigate this is the gadget cards. So the item cards that you have, if you have for every set or pair that you have of those cards that are in the hand that you went out with, you get to add an additional I do card into that pile, which means it's even more likely that you're going to draw an I do card and win the game. Now, you can also screw up the other players. This is where the one small amount of player interaction, aside from grabbing the discard, comes into play. When someone goes out, you can look at the card and sets that they've put out and say, oh, wait a second, I have the exact same set or pair that you have, so I'm going to go ahead and throw those in. So this person can go, oh, you know what, I got that too. So there you go, buddy. Have a good time with that. So they can totally make it even less likely that you're going to draw the right cards that you need by adding more cards into your hand, and that player will have to draw up at the end of that turn as well. And that's the game. That is the entire game. You're going to draw a card, discard a card, try to make your 2 sets in a pair, try to be the first one to go out, and then hope that you draw your I do card from the stack. And at this point, I want to go through the different cards in the game because they are freaking adorable, and I think they deserve to be looked at if you never get a chance to play this game. Because like I said, all of these numbered and colored cards are based off of activities of your special magical moment of when you're trying to pop the question. So the one blue card is Love Boat Cruises. And they all have funny little references to them as well. You have Sunset on the Beach. Candlelight Dinners. And this is where some of the Taiwanese cultural things are coming into play with how they're dressed. Tear-jerking love songs. The fireworks festivals. Here's another reference I don't quite get. Lighted window messages on Taipei 101 building. Okay, I suppose it's a very famous building over there. Here's the red cards. Message balloons. Homemade videos. Hello, hello. I want to see how many people get that reference. This is my favorite one of all time. One of my favorite cards of any game. Creation of a marriage proposal board game. Where they are playing this game. I love it. Sweet Memories. That's one of the cutest cards in the game. Knight in Shining Armor. Now, I will say, too, these cards are maybe slightly tiniest bit sexist because it only shows men doing these things for women, and there's no same-sex couples. But you got to expect that cultural thing. And Best Wishes from Friends. Now, the gadget cards. You have houses. And you have roses. I don't know why he's got a light bulb for a tail. Don't ask me. This is the weirdest one, diamonds, because I don't know what is up with this cat. Like, I just don't. What is his deal? He looks so different from all the other ones. He looks like angry billionaire DJ. I don't know. It's creepy. And love letters. That's a funny one. Also, one other card in the game, and this probably is the funniest card in the game. The wild card, which you can use to slip into any set or pair you're trying to make, or even when you're trying to screw someone up, you can use them. That is the baby. Which is, okay, yeah, all right, you're having a baby, my baby. So yeah, I guess we should get married. That's essentially what this is. It's the wild card you can just never quite count on. So that's the game. Very simple, very light, lots of ridiculously cute art. Let's get to my final thoughts. Well, I warned you in my intro, the game is super freaking cute. And even if you're not someone who's pre-inclined to like anime and chibis and things like that, it's still good quality artwork. Everything about the design of the game is pretty cool and funny too. I like all of the different cards. I like the one that just says making a marriage proposal board game and it shows them playing the game. I love that meta stuff. The game and the artwork has a good sense of humor, even if at the same time, while the theme, the idea of the theme is fun, where you're trying to do a marriage proposal, it's not the most thematic game in the world. I mean, it's a card game. It's a very light card game that has a lot of similarities to traditional card games, and hence it can be very abstract at times. But boy, the artwork and the idea of the theme really helps to sell it. And I think it's going to be, based on that merit alone, you can probably get a lot of people to play this. And there's going to be some people that will completely avoid it because of that. But that's the, let's say, push your luck mechanism of getting people to play the game. It's going to turn some people off as far as the artwork, and some people are going to absolutely adore it. Now, as far as that gameplay goes, I will say up front that I'm pre-inclined to like the game to a degree because of nostalgia. When I was growing up, I didn't know any complicated card games, and I was at my grandma's a lot. I played a ton of traditional card games with her, and most of them went over my head and I had no fun doing them. But the one that I liked was Rum, 500 Rum, Rummy, whatever we called it. I'm sure we didn't play it the way it was supposed to be played because I was a dumb kid, but my grandma indulged me all the time, and I enjoyed it. I think for me, even today, there's something just viscerally engaging about making sets of cards and trying to be the first one to do it and lay them down. The set collection aspect, it's in so many games in so many different ways, like Lost Cities, but it really appeals to me. And it's probably why, even though Lost Cities is like an abstract, themeless, dry game, I enjoy it. And that's what I enjoy about In Love and War as well. But on top of that, you have this cool idea of the marriage proposal of, you know, it's not enough for you just to make a set, the two sets in a pair, and try to just say, oh, I'm out, I win the game. No, now you have to try and get your marriage proposal through. So you take all those cards, you put in the I do card and hope that you draw it. Now, that is a random mess, and it could mean that the game's going to go on for a very long time, or it could mean that it's a very short game. And I question whether you should let people do the whole interference thing, where if you have the same set of cards or one of the same sets of cards that they just put down, you could throw them into the batch, so it makes it less likely that they draw the I do card. That could make the game exceedingly long. And you know, we did it in all the playthroughs that we did, but I don't know. If the big issue you have with the game is that it's too long, which I could see happening for what it is, too long for what it is, don't do that. I don't think it's totally necessary. It's still hard enough to draw the right card. Although I like that you can mitigate that by if you submit the gadget sets for your set or your pair, the gadget cards, you make it more likely that you're going to draw one of the I do cards. And I like that if you fail, you take one of the heart tokens, and now you have a better shot because now you can draw more cards. So it's an interesting thing. Having that whole other section of the game does make the game way more interesting than a traditional card game. Does it make it great? Probably not. I had a lot of fun with it. I love the theme. I love the artwork. So, and because of my nostalgia factor and because I like card games in general, I was much more forgiving to it than other people in my group were. I probably had much more fun than the other people I played with were, because they're like, there's not that much here, right? I mean, there are turns where you're just, or whole rounds of play where you're just like, draw, all right. Draw, all right. I mean, you're just waiting to pounce and say meow and grab that card that you need, and that can be a while sometimes. So it's not the most exciting game, but and it sounds like I'm being very harsh to the game, but I like it. I really think that this is one of those quote-unquote gateway card games. You would be surprised how many times I've thought, oh, let's just play Love Letter with people because that's so simple and easy to teach. And people still have issues grasping the concepts going on here, but I really don't know anyone that couldn't understand what to do with this game, because it's almost like traditional card games are just ingrained in people's brains across the world. And this one appeals to that, and on top of that, it looks gorgeous. You have this innovative mechanic of the marriage proposal, and it is a fun theme to think about. So I think it's especially going to work well with couples and families. I do hope that it gets brought over here. I don't know. Some of the cards are very Taiwanese. Like, I think there's like one of the cards I didn't even understand the reference because it was referring to a building in Taiwan that I don't know about, I think. And like the female cat is wearing a I guess what is a traditional wedding dress for Taiwan, but still, it's all very, very cute. It's very adorable. It's a very light, very light, like it's almost going to float away to the ceiling game that I still had a lot of fun with. And if you like these types of games, I urge you to check it out if you can, because it's pretty cool. My name is Nick. This has been Board Game Brawl, and I'm reminding you to get out there and game every day and every way. Take care.